Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to another book review video. I want to apologize right now. I'm going to be looking off here to the side. Typically when I set up my filming area for my book review videos, I have my notes right in front of me, so I'm not really looking off to the side. But my little remote has stopped working. I put a new battery in it. It will not do what it's supposed to do. So really bummed because I just bought a whole pack of these batteries for like $10 and it will not work. So don't know what's going on. Anyway, so all of my notes are over here because you guys know I like to make sure I'm telling you everything about the books and what I feel about them. So apologize, I'm gonna be looking over to the side here. Also in this video, I'm going to show you how I filled in my pages for the month of January in the book journal. Let's just do that right now, actually. So one of the things that I did in my book journal, I just kind of color coded all of my stars. I do have an in-depth kind of going through this journal. I will have to look and see where I did that. It was in one of my videos I posted in December. I have my reading goals here, which 75 books for the year, read 4 new authors, new genres. I want to try to read some more historical fiction, which I did this month, by the way. And I also want to read more science fiction. I have not done all of this piece yet. I still need to fill out that piece. My book tracker. So I have it color coded down here by all the way from 1 star up to 5 stars. And then as I finish a book, I color code in by the stars. So we have read 7 books in the month of January. And then I am putting them also on this list. So just kind of another little tracker. Again, you just put how many stars they each get. And 5-star reads. And I'm going to explain a little bit. So I am not putting on like this. There's a couple of Kindle Unlimited series that I am reading, and they pretty much are all 5-star for me. I'm not including those in there. I really want to do kind of the more independent 5-star reads, if you know what I mean, like not these 10-book series that I'm reading, because I really want this to be filled up with other type of books that I've rated 5 stars. There is a series tracker in here I have not started using yet. I will use that for books as I go along. What else do we got here? Okay, we have our book bingo, which I still need to go in and see if any of the other 7 books fall under any of these. I haven't paid much attention to that, but I also fill it in with the same color coding of whether it's a 5-star read, 4-star read, 3-star read, 2-star read, 1-star read. So that will be color coded with the same color coding. We have our map, which I messed up on that one, and that drives me crazy. I'm always gonna have to look at that, but that's okay. So we'll color the map in. Right now I only have 6 because one of the books, I have no idea where it was set in. I tried looking it up online. There was no clear answer. So this is only gonna work with the state. So this is the state that the book is set in. This will only work if it actually tells you that. And then you write in under the prospective case state over here. And then we have our monthly picks. So #1 book of the year, of the month, and then you break it down to what you get to the year. So I do have that. I printed that out on my printer on sticker paper. And then we have our reading tracker that kind of tells you, like, you're supposed to fill it in with how many pages. So I have the color coding down here for how many pages, and then I just code that in right there. Then we have our genre tracker. So I have on here crime, mystery, historical fiction, romance, fantasy. I need to write in science fiction. But so far you can see that I still have read 4 mysteries, 2 crime, and 1 historical fiction. So we're still real heavy on the mystery thriller area. And then the only thing I've not filled in on this side is how many pages read. I still need to add that up, but you can see across here what each of those are and how you rated them. So it's just kind of wrapping up your reading. These are like new releases that I want to get to, and I actually read 2 of the new releases in the month of January, but it doesn't have to be read in January. These are just what month they come out, and then I'll go through and mark them off as I read them. So these are just ones that I'm looking forward to reading, and I did read 2 of them. And then that's kind of what this is too, just kind of my TBR for the year, what I really want to read. So I already filled in all those new releases in here, but I'm also going to fill in other books besides just new releases, ones I want to get to. And then the last section to show you is kind of the real fun section. So you can see here, you can put the picture here, and then you just fill in the information, how many stars. If it's a spicy book, like a romance, you can put how many spice it is. But I did that for all the books. So you can see that. Yeah. So I really like these pages, are really fun. So I don't waste all my printer paper because I just have a big printer. I don't have one of those little printers I can print out one at a time. What I do is I wait till the end of the month and I just print them all out on one sheet. And then some of them need to be multiple depending on if they were your favorite book for the year, that kind of thing. So, oh, and then the section I haven't even looked at yet that I'll need to print out more for is going to be there's also the A to Z challenge. So I filled in the books that fit on that. And then the other thing I haven't done is read the rainbow. So once I get more of these filled in back here with I feel like what I'm going to do is once I get some of these more in, and then I'm going to just look and see which ones will fit in here at some other time. As long as I get this filled in by the end of the year, that's all I'm worried about. And that was an update on the reading journal. So I'll update you guys every month or so, unless it gets really repetitive, but I don't want to take too much time on this. I may just do it every few months and then kind of show you what it's shaping up to be. And then at the end of the year, we'll do a whole dive into and show it all done. Okay, so let's talk about the 7 books I read in January. But first, for those who don't know, I do have a Facebook book club group. If you'd like to join the book club, there'll be a link down below. In the month of February, we are doing a reading challenge. All things kind of February related, because February is the shortest month of the year. So I have books with short chapters, authors with short names, those kind of things. So really fun. So if you have a Facebook, come on over and join the Facebook group. I will link it down below. As always, I'm going to give you the Goodreads rating at the time of filming this video and my personal rating. There'll be no spoilers in this review video. I recently joined the Book of the Month Club. So if you're interested in that, I do have a link where you can click on that and your first book will be $5. I say I just did it. I think I have had it for 11 months now. So I guess at some point I should say, it's not real recent anymore. I am loving it though. I absolutely love it. If I found a book through Kindle Unlimited, I will let you know. There'll be links to all these services down below, plus a few other little services that, book-related services, will be in the description box, as well as links to each of the Goodreads pages and the Amazon page where you can read reviews or purchase the books if you're interested. If you want to be friends on Goodreads, my link is in the description box. As always, these tend to be longer videos, so grab a snack, something to drink. We have today our pineapple Spindrift sparkling water. Yum. So let's take a little drink and let's get into the reviews. As always, I do my reviews based on the order of how I read them. I will give a description of the book and briefly how I felt about it and if I recommend it. So let's get into the reviews. Book number 1, The Next Grave by Kendra Elliott. My rating 5 stars, Goodreads rating 4.8. This is the next installment of the Columbia River series. So I'm not going to give you the whole blurb on this because honestly, they're all about the same, really. I mean, we have a crime, they're police procedural, they're very quick. What I really love about these cozy mysteries is what I call them. What I really love about them is how all the characters for different other series that she has, they all cross over. And so technically you don't have to read these in order, although you would come a little bit behind. However, I notice in these kind of Kindle Unlimited series, I mean, they're not the Great American Novels, but one thing about these series is they do kind of catch people up in case this is the first one they've picked up. It will kind of say, oh, this happened very briefly. But if you want the whole in-depth of what has happened to these characters over the years, then you will definitely want to, you want to read the books in the order. So I think if some people were to hop on to these books for the first time, they may think, oh, this sounds so repetitive. And it does to me sometimes because I am reading book after book after book with them, but it's okay. Sometimes now that I've caught up on most of the series, now I think I'm completely caught up. This is the newest installment. Now it doesn't seem, it's almost like, okay, yeah, that's right. Remind me of what happened because it's been a while since the other book came out. So I kind of like that they do that as well. But all these series can be found on Kindle Unlimited. If you've read her Mercy Kilpatrick series, you'll enjoy this one as well. She does cross over into this series. So again, you may want to read The Mercy Kilpatrick. That's what I ended up doing with this one. I read a couple of these, and then I had never read any of The Mercy Kilpatrick, and then I realized I was kind of missing out on some stuff. So I went back, read the whole Mercy, I think I've read the entire Mercy Kilpatrick series, and then finished the rest of this one, and it made so much more sense to me. But I love these cozy mystery crime thriller books. They're so good. So I do recommend them. Book number 2, The Perfect Marriage by Geneva Rose. My rating, 3 stars. Goodreads rating, 3.97 stars. This is the 3rd book by this author that I have read. I found this one on Kindle Unlimited. First, let's read the synopsis, and then we'll go over my thoughts. I have a lot of thoughts on this one. Sarah Morgan is one of the best criminal defense attorneys in Washington, D.C. With the perfect case record and having made named partner before the age of 35, her life is going exactly as planned. However, the same cannot be said for her husband, Adam, a failed author who's grown to resent his wife's her huge success, because I can't pronounce that word, as he feels has come at the expense of their relationship. For almost 2 years, Adam has kept his affair with Kelly Summers a secret. But everything changes when her body is discovered at the couple's lake house and Adam is arrested on suspicion of murder. Sarah now finds herself facing her most challenging case yet, when she vows to defend her husband, a man accused of murdering his mistress. While Adam is certainly guilty of sleeping with Kelly, the question is he guilty of killing her too? So here's the thing about this author. I follow her on social media, and her and her husband like do videos quite often, and I absolutely love her. Like, I think she is genuinely like a hilarious person. I love her posts on social media. So it just makes me want to like her books because I like her so much. And in my heart of hearts, I feel like this 3-star rating on this book is a bit generous, and it really has to do with my feelings about her, because I do think I really like her. I think she is so funny. So far, I've only enjoyed one of her books, and that was the 2024 release, Home is Where the Bodies Are. So my hope is that maybe, because her other book that I read was One of Us is Dead, and I really did not like that one. I liked The Perfect Marriage better than that one. And these ones I think were written a couple years ago. And I don't know, maybe she's just getting better. I don't know. I sure hope so. And there is a second book of this one coming out, because the ending of this, I wasn't a fan of the ending at all. And it's kind of a what the heck jaw-dropping moment though. And it's a little far-fetched. I know sometimes I have no problem suspending my disbelief on books because I read books for entertainment, but sometimes it's a little too far. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes it's just taken a little too far, and this one was a little interesting. So I believe the second book that comes out this year is called The Perfect Divorce, if I remember right. I honestly, when I was kind of writing out my reviews, I was thinking, I think I'll skip it. But now, as I'm kind of talking through it, I may give it a try, because who knows? Maybe it'll be better writing. Maybe it'll be better editing. Maybe. I don't know. For one thing, let's go ahead and start off with what I didn't like. And that is that her Adam was so annoying. And usually I can kind of get past an annoying character if there's other ones that you can like, and there's not in this book. But it was so hard to get through his chapters, especially because it was just like, what the heck is going on? I mean, I don't know. Also, plot holes. There's just so many. I feel like you would get these vague references and hints of things that were going to happen, but then nothing came of it. So it's like, okay, why was this even situation brought to our attention if we're not even going to do anything with it? It just felt to the point where I was like, did I miss something? Did I skip some pages? You guys know I read at night, and I have caught myself falling asleep, and I think I'm still scrolling sometimes. My husband's caught me doing that. So I don't know. I mean, that's how I felt. And like I said, I just wasn't a fan of the ending. Now, this has very short chapters, which I love in mystery books, thriller books that have short chapters, because it's just like boom, boom, boom. You're getting through those twists. You're getting through those turns. It's just snappy. Sometimes the only bad thing about the short chapters are sometimes you find yourself reading a lot longer into the night and getting less sleep for work in the morning because you know you just have to get through a few more chapters, but the chapters are so short that it doesn't feel like, you know what I mean? That's the only bad thing. But it is fast-paced, very engaging, and it has a very intriguing plot premise. I mean, you guys heard the synopsis. I mean, it is very, very intriguing, and the book really does pull you in. It's just, there's just some things wrong with it, and I really don't know what got the hype. I'm just wondering if the hype comes again from her being on social media and being so likable and engaging on social media. I think that probably really does help a lot. But let me know if you've read this book or any books by this author. If you have read this book, are you going to read the second one? I'm curious. Book number 3, None Left to Tell by Noelle W. Ely. My rating 5 stars, Goodreads rating 4.26 stars. This is the 6th book that I read by this author. I'm pretty sure I only have 2 more books of hers to read. I think they may be older ones, but I'm not positive. But I know I have 2 more left to read, not counting the novellas. There's a couple of novellas that go along with her full-size novels that I haven't read those. I think there's 2 or 3 of those, and I haven't read those, but I don't count those as the books. This book is on Kindle Unlimited. Super excited to talk about this one. So let's first talk about the synopsis. Lucy is sick of turning the other cheek. 10 years ago, an anti-Mormon mob drove her family and friends from their homes in Illinois. But now the tables have turned. Rumor has it some of these same men are traveling through Utah on their way to California. At this time, Lucy won't run. Katrina knew the trek west would be difficult, but she had no idea she'd be walking straight into hell. The young mother of 4 is prepared to do whatever it takes to protect her family from the violence closing in. But the battle to survive will be more harrowing than anything she can imagine. Sally has just been gifted to a man she barely knows, and that's gifted, as his 4th wife. Trapped and lonely, she tries to make the best of her new life, but when her husband insists on joining a group of religious zealots, plans for revenge, she's forced to reconsider her loyalties, even if it means putting her own life on the line. So I mentioned earlier that I wanted to broaden my reading this year by reading different genres, and historical fiction is one of them. This is a historical fiction / suspense novel, and I just love it. So several of Noelle W. Ely's books are based on true events. I think I'm getting her mixed up with another author. I think maybe one other of her books is based on true events. I think I'm thinking of somebody else. But this also is based on true events. And this is much different than her other books. So if you're used to reading her books and they're just so full of twists and turns and kind of thriller, some of them kind of on the side of horror books, this is not that. This is a completely different type of book. I didn't expect it, but this book completely captivated me from the very first page. The story follows 3 women. So we talk about Lucy, Katrina, and Sally, each of them facing just incredible trials at the time of upheaval. I was immediately drawn into their words. And their struggles just felt so real. So raw. I could almost feel their pain. It was heart-wrenching to read some of these things. And especially when I was about halfway through the book, I stopped to go look at that point, I didn't know this was based on a true story. I don't think anything was mentioned in the beginning of the book. So I even stopped and I was like, is this real? This feels real. Because I thought, okay, this is all set back in the 1800s. I'm like, so I start Googling what's going on there, and I could not believe it was real. Until I read this book, I never heard of the Mountain Meadows Massacre. And I won't forget about it anytime soon. That's something I've noticed about the 2 historical fiction books that I have read recently. So The Women by Kristen Hanna last year, and now this one. I can't stop thinking about either one of them. I think that's why I could not be 100% historical fiction fan, because that's just too much. It's so heavy, on my head. I need pure entertainment from these crazy thriller books and twists and turns. I need those to kind of, balance out the historical fiction stuff that's just in my head right now. I don't know if there's people who only read those. I don't know how you could do it. At the same time, the book was so dark though at times. And it was really hard to read. And I honestly, like, the amount of research that went into this was so apparent and so appreciated, because I could tell that I was reading a book that somebody took so much time to make sure they got it right. I don't often read the afterword in books. Sometimes I'll read, like, skim the first, like, a sentence or so to see if it's anything I want to read. Read this one. If you're not one that reads them, I highly recommend you to read this one, because it does talk about the massacre and the relationship between the author and the massacre. So she has I believe it was a great grandmother was part of this massacre, and she kind of writes her into the story a little bit. It just made me respect this author's story so much, knowing that there's a personal connection to it. I cannot recommend this book enough, you guys. Again, it's on Kindle Unlimited, so highly recommend it, and go check it out. Let me know if you have read it. Book number 4, What I've Done by Melinda Lee. My rating 5 stars, Goodreads rating 4.44 stars. This is the 4th book of the Morgan Dane series on Kindle Unlimited. Now, I first started my reading of Melinda Lee. Melinda Lee and Kendra Elliott are very, very, very similar. And a matter of fact, they've just recently wrote a book together. I believe it's called Echo Road. Is that what it's called? But they combined some of their favorite characters into one book. I hope they do another one, because I absolutely love that book. And you would never know that 2 different authors wrote that book. I mean, it was 2 separate authors. I know that we have, like, Christina Lauren, we have Liv Constantine. Those are like 2 different authors that are writing the same book, but they're like, you know, they write together all the time. These 2 don't write together all the time, and it's just like, it was such a good book. Anyway, I started reading the Bree Taggart series by Melinda Lee, and then I caught up. But hint, little preview of February, I think the 10th one in the series, I'm reading it right now as we speak. So, but I caught up with it, and I wanted to read the Morgan Dane, because Morgan Dane was kind of showing up in some of the other series. And so I wanted to know, who is this person and other people they're mentioning. So I went back to read the Morgan Dane series. So I'm on the 4th book. I have the 5th book. They're all on Kindle Unlimited. So I usually listen to these on audiobook, because they're just great books to listen to on audiobook. You don't tend to miss anything. So that's my preferred way of listening to most of these huge Kindle Unlimited series. I believe there's 6 books in the Morgan Dane series. So like I said, this is the 4th one. I love it. Love it so much. The Bree Taggart one, though, is by far my absolute favorite. So again, another cozy crime mystery, police procedurals. I just could not recommend it enough. Morgan Dane is a lawyer on this one versus the other ones. Bree Taggart is the police officer. So this one you're kind of seeing from a lawyer perspective, and also private investigator. She works with private investigators. So I just have really enjoyed reading how all the characters have grown and evolved. And just these series are just fun. They're just fun to read. Kind of just nice little palate cleansers in between the real tough ones like the one before this. Book number 5, Look Closer by David Ellis. My rating 4 stars, Goodreads rating 4.19 stars. This is the first book that I read by this author. So let's go ahead and do a quick synopsis on this one, and then we'll talk about my thoughts. Simon and Vicky couldn't seem more a wealthy Chicago couple with a stable, if unexciting, marriage. But with these 2, absolutely nothing is what it seems. When a beautiful socialite is found hanging in a mansion in a nearby suburb, Simon and Vicky's complex web of secrets begins to unravel. A whirlwind affair, a $20 million trust fund about to come due. A decades-long grudge and an obsession with revenge. Both Vicky and Simon are liars, but just who exactly is conning who? Sorry for all the tongue-tiedness. I am filming this like at 8 o'clock at night, which is much, much later than I normally film. And I'm going to bed in about 45 minutes. So it's just been a long weekend. Okay, let me tell you guys, whoa, this book, this is a lot. This book was a lot of bang for your buck. Great suspense, well-paced, complex, intelligently written, original, engrossing read. It had all the things, right? It had all the things. The only reason why I didn't get the 5th star is because, one, I figured out the ending pretty early on, but also it was almost like too twisty and turny. Like, there was a couple times I was like, okay, wait. When they started doing the reveal, I'm pretty sure if I remember, this is the same one. It was like pretty much two parts to it. You're seeing the dual, you have different points of view from the different people, which that part was easy to follow. The part that was hard to follow was once they started giving you everything. And then some of the things didn't feel like they added up, because you're like, how could she be here when that's over here? How's the phone here? And wait, the phone's over here now? How did the phone get over there? And it would get to the point where I was like almost wanting, do I scroll back? Do I go back and read a couple chapters? Did I miss something? What the point of it was that he got you. So it was like, oh, I got you. You thought this was what was going on, but I got you here. And it does at the end wrap all those questions up. So all of those things that were going through my head, it all wrapped up at the end. So it's almost like I just wasn't patient enough to get there. So it'll get there. I do recommend this book. Highly recommend this book. I just kind of figure it out kind of early on. Not everything. I didn't figure it all out, but I did figure out some of it early on. So that's really the only reason for not a 5-star, because whenever I can figure out like the main twist, and then just so much confusion. I feel like if, like with Freida McFadden books, okay, she gives you all those twists and turns and like craziness, right? But her books are so quick and punchy that you get to that end where it wraps it all up very quickly. This, I felt like it took too long, so to the point where I just had all these questions going through my head after chapter after chapter after chapter, and it just took too long to get to that wrapping up point. But it is worth the read. It is worth those twists and turns. It is a good book, you guys. 4.19 on Goodreads. That's telling you right there. It's a good book. Highly recommend it. I definitely think you should check it out. Book number 6, The Business Trip by Jessie Garcia. My rating, 3 stars. Goodreads rating, 3.76 stars. This is a debut novel by this author. This can be found on Kindle Unlimited. Let's talk about the synopsis and then my thoughts. Stephanie and Jasmine have nothing and everything in common. The two women don't even know each other, but are on the same plane. Stephanie is on a business trip and Jasmine is fleeing an abusive relationship. After a few days, they text their friends the exact same messages about the same man. The messages became stranger and more erratic. And then the two women vanish. The texts go silent, the red flags go up, and the panic sets in. When Stephanie and Jasmine are each declared missing and in danger, it begs the who is Trent McCarthy? And what did he do to these women? And what did they do to him? So this is one of those cases where I felt like the synopsis and the actual book did not quite match up. Like it does not. And so I don't know if that, I have a feeling that a synopsis of a book comes more from the editors, the publishing house, the marketing people. And I think that's why sometimes they don't match up. I think they read the plot of the book, kind of take the characters, whatever. I don't know. I mean, I am kind of curious how a synopsis is created and if the author has much to do about it. I don't know, because it didn't match up. I enjoyed the writing, and many of the twists and turns were pretty jaw-dropping. But overall, this book, it was just a bit over the top for me. And even the ending was just over the top. And I do want to give this author another chance, because I do feel like she has really good writing skills. I thought the plot was very unique and in a different way. Like, I know we have like this type of plots, all the time, but in a different way. This was a unique plot. But it was very over the top. But it is a quick read, very fast paced. So I do think it's worth it to give it a chance. Some people may think differently than I do, but it just definitely wasn't my favorite. But like I said, I do think I want to give the author another. Number 7, Cross My Heart by Megan Collins. My rating, 4 stars. Goodreads rating, 3.85 stars. This was one of the new releases, and actually I should mention The Business Trip was also a new release coming out this year that I had on my, to be read list, my TBR list. And this one is also one of them. So these were the 2 books that I knocked off that list. Let's go ahead and read the synopsis, and then I'll talk about this book. Rosie Loughlin wants nothing more than to find the one. A year after she was dumped in her wedding dress, she's working at her parents' bridal salon, anxious for a happy ending that can't come soon enough. After receiving a life-saving heart transplant, Rosie knows her health is precious and precarious. She suspects her heart donor is Daphne Thorne, the wife of a local celebrity author, Morgan Thorne, who she begins messaging via an anonymous service called Donor Connect. to learn more about Daphne. But Rosie has a secret. She's convinced that now that she has his wife's heart, she and Morgan are meant to be together. As she and Morgan correspond, the pretense of avoiding personal details soon disappears, even if Rosie's keeping her cards close to her chest. But as she digs deeper into Morgan's previous marriage, she discovers disturbing rumors about the man she's falling for. Can Morgan have had something to do with his late wife's death? And can Rosie's heart sustain another break, or is she next? So cross my heart, this book had me hooked from the first word. I love a little bit of mixed media. So we had like text messages, we had the letters. I love that. What are those called? I can't remember. It starts with an E. Depository books? I can't remember. But those are some of my favorite, and I'm always seeking those books out. I had no idea this book was one of those. If you know of any, let me know. Anything that has text messages, letters, messages on like, social media, those kind of things. I eat those books up. Love them. It just makes me feel more personally connected to the characters. And to the story itself. I feel like it just adds so much to the story. It's really hard to review this book without giving away any spoilers because it's not what it appears to be. That synopsis is not what it appears to be. I mean, it's about the book, but the things it talks about in there, I mean, there is really no way for me to tell you any more about this book without giving away some things. I loved the twists and turns. The chapters were a bit long for my liking, which is really the only reason why I did not give it a 5-star, because it really was just a little bit too much. The chapters seemed so incredibly long. Even though it had the mixed media in there, some of those chapters were rather short. It would have the letter and then it would just pretty much be over. But the other chapters were just too long. And the ending, it just didn't wow me. It didn't wow me enough. But it was good. It wrapped it all up. But the twists and turns makes this the book to read. And especially if you are one that loves books about like obsessive stalkers, because this one would do it for you. So definitely highly recommend this book. Hope you guys check it out. So those are the 7 books that I read in the month of January. Please let me know what you guys read. What was your standout or standouts for the month? Did you guys have any 5-star reads? Let me know how you started off this year. We're going to do good this year. We're going to have another fantastic reading year. That is the plan. So I will have everything linked down below, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.